The Witcher's beautiful cinematography and heart-pounding, Striga-shaking, coin-tossing action makes every frame worth poring over and examining, but some moments in particular stand out for being scrutinized by fans time and time again. In the fantastic and fast-paced series premiere of The Witcher, there were a lot of moments that had people pausing to get a better look at the details. There were also a few that were paused so viewers could figure out just what the heck was going on. We're introduced to our title character, Henry Cavill's Geralt of Rivia, also known as the White Wolf and the Butcher of Blaviken. We're told of his witchering ways, zooming across time and space for flashbacks and exposition told out of chronological order, and given plenty of information about how this strange magical world works.
60 women wearing gold crowns who'd fill the river valleys with blood.
Doesn't rhyme. All good predictions rhyme.
In addition to letting us know why there are so many monsters hanging around in dire need of witchering, that first episode builds tension slowly. We, along with Geralt, come to realize that the problems he faces aren't going to be as simple as finding a monster and stabbing it a bunch. Finally, we get the climax and a jaw-dropping fight scene crammed with an explosive series of whiplash-inducing action moves. Geralt's swordplay and the fantastic fight choreography are the real heroes on display. People kept pausing to take in the incredible battle that earns the Witcher the grisly nickname that will follow him for the rest of his life, the Butcher of Blaviken. This action sequence turned heads and occasionally severed them, with its lightning-fast moves, amazing editing, and technical perfection that left audiences going through every single moment of the scene asking, how'd they do that? Episode 2 continues serving up more stellar scenes as the story begins to expand beyond our hero. The narrative splits as it weaves more important characters into its complex, time-bending story, and every one of them has a hand in a greater destiny of the Witcher's world. Geralt meets his bestie bard Jaskier in this episode, and regardless of how curmudgeonly Geralt acts toward the sweet-voiced songsmith, they kick off the high fantasy equivalent of a buddy cop comedy dynamic right away.
The Butcher of Blaviken!
Come here.
Yeah.
Some local townsfolk have claimed to see a devil nearby, and since hacking up devils and demons are the bread and butter of the witchering job, Geralt signs up to hunt it down. Jaskier comes with him, annoying Geralt with his attempts to make him the star of a lute-based rock opera. When they track down what folks thought was a devil, they actually find a magical humanoid known as a Sylvan. The otherworldly appearance of this creature gives Geralt and audiences pause. The flawless effects make this monster seem like it's jumping off the screen, and people stop the show to scrutinize the Sylvan's goat-like eyes, expressive face, and very cool-looking horns. Despite its shocking appearance and the fact that they get into a massive fistfight at first, the Witcher learns that the Sylvan is actually aiding elfish refugees. Geralt and Jaskier leave the Sylvan and the elves in peace and go on their merry way. A solid story, but to be honest, that's not the most memorable thing about this episode. This was, after all, the story that inspired Jaskier's meme-worthy #1 bop, Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, which we haven't been able to get out of our heads since. Episode 2 also introduces another key character to the Witcher saga, Yennefer of Vengerberg, who brings another moment that made fans gasp and scramble to pause the show. It happens in what is basically an extremely abusive Hogwarts for women that serves as a training ground for a cult of sorceresses. We first meet Yennefer as a young girl, and fans of the beautiful spellcaster from the best-selling video game Witcher 3 or promo photos of stunning actress Anya Chalotra might not recognize their heroine. She's badly abused and ostracized by her family and community. Luckily to the audience, her physical deformities and initially timid nature puts us all solidly on Team Yen when she's plucked from her terrible childhood by a less-than-kindly mentor after exhibiting magical powers. While her fortunes are changing, it's definitely not an easy road for the young witch in training. Near the episode's end, the scene when she takes a stance and crosses the threshold from downtrodden victim to power-hungry maven leaves fans hitting pause and wondering just how far Yen will go to achieve her ends. Plopping these eel/classmates into the murky pool surrounding the testing ground shows us Yen's very deep dark side, and illustrates beautifully just how far she'll go to take back the power that the world has denied her for all these years. The third episode of The Witcher pushes deeper into Yen's origin story and her psyche, as we get into some new territory in her past. At first, sorceress training is going great. Yen's excelling, and her mentor Tissaia is guiding her and trying to instill some confidence in the young witch. Heartbreakingly, Yen is still unsatisfied with the appearance which caused her so much pain as a child. Now that she's a mighty magic wielder, she's got options. Yen elects to have a little magical cosmetic surgery, and decides that she's in too much of a hurry to bother with anesthesia. Still, she's got an extremely experienced wizard surgeon, and Yen is prepared to go to any lengths to become who she wants to be.
I want to be powerful.
Seen and adored with everyone watching.
It is what I'm owed.
This scene is brutal and spares no detail of Yen's body being physically reshaped, leaving some folks pausing just to catch their breath and get a moment's respite from the screams. That's all intentional though. The stellar lighting and cinematography, intercut with Geralt's deadly battle with the monstrous Striga, create a hellish atmosphere which pull the audience along during Yen's pain. The end result is the conventionally beautiful witch that we saw in the game, but now we know exactly what the cost of those good looks is. Speaking of the Striga, Episode 3 also brings us back to Geralt as he witchers his way towards a destiny which will shake the entire world. While Yennefer's harrowing story is playing out, we also see Geralt's hunt for this misshapen monster, and the story leading up to the battle is a twisted tale of tragedy that's every bit as sorrowful as Yen's. Geralt is called in by Triss Merigold to help apprehend the horrifying creature that's been terrorizing a village for years, and get to the bottom of the curse that brought it on in the first place. The Witcher finds that the Striga is actually a product of some, let's just call it a Lannister-style relationship between the king and his sister. A jealous advisor in love with the king's sister attempted to curse the king, but the spell went awry. It wound up cursing and killing the mother instead, causing her baby to become a monstrous, bloodthirsty Striga. While the story is as gruesome as it gets, it does give us this amazing monster battle scene that uses movie magic to full effect. The shadowy lighting and quick cuts interspersed with slow, tense waiting make this fight scene one of the highlights of the whole first season. After all, the scariest monsters are always the ones you can never quite see, leading plenty of viewers to make ourselves a little less frightened by pausing the action to try to get a good look. Trust us, even seeing this nightmare in crystal clear HD wouldn't make it any less frightening. It's not all violence and horror when it comes to The Witcher's most plausible moments. Some of them are downright pleasant. Geralt of Rivia is one dirty boy, especially after being swallowed by a monster living in an icy lake and then fighting his way out from the inside. At first, he seems okay with his coating of monster guts, despite the smell. But that wily bard Jaskier insists that Geralt act as his bodyguard at a fancy ball, so he's got to clean up his act. Fans of Geralt's video game counterpart in The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt will instantly recognize this iconic scene of our favorite Witcher in the bathtub. The production team behind the Netflix show absolutely nailed the lighting and look of their live-action version of the scene. Plus, it gives us some great banter between Jaskier and his begrudging muse Geralt. The witty back and forth and the fascinating magic that is Cavill's wig means fans can't take their eyes off this scene. But let's be real, we all know the true star of this scene is Geralt's bare, brawny chest. All that monster hunting is paying off because the guy is cut. Episode 5 takes Geralt and his fans on a very wild, very sexy ride that piqued plenty of interest in viewers and sent at least a few of them in search of a freeze frame to take it all in. That wily bard Jaskier has landed Geralt in hot water once again. Except this time, it's not the nice relaxing bath that we might have hoped for. That happens later. The two monster hunting bros have literally fished up a magical wish-granting djinn, which is an extremely powerful magical being. They've got 3 wishes, and the first ones are not used very wisely. Geralt wishes Jaskier would shut up for once and winds up getting exactly what he wants.
There are only 3 wishes.
Oh, come on. You always say you want nothing from life. So how was I supposed to know you wanted 3 wishes all to yourself? I just want some damn peace!
Jaskier is on the verge of death from a wish gone wrong, but there's a powerful sorceress nearby who might be able to help, and her name just happens to be Yennefer of Vengerberg. Geralt drags his bardic buddy down the road in search of some healing magic. It's a race against time as Jaskier's throat closes up, threatening to cut off his breath permanently and give Geralt his much-desired peace. Fortunately, they find Yen posted up in a little town, where she is, well, making the most of her circumstances. The beautiful enchantress has, through magical means, coerced the whole once puritanical town into a massive party that's gone way past PG-13. Mind-controlling the whole town into some late-night Cinemax-style entertainment because she's bored definitely isn't the coolest thing Yen has ever done. Still, the details and costuming, or lack of costuming, of the Eyes Wide Shut style festivities is impressive. Geralt's deadpan grumpiness in the face of this thirst trap makes us pause for sure, probably with the same look Jaskier had on our faces. The final episode of The Witcher's first season takes magical warfare to some incredible new heights. After building up the threat all season, the forces of Nilfgaard, which have an intense hatred for magical beings like the elves, finally make their move against our heroes in the north. Yennefer and her allies have chosen to make a last stand with the North in the face of what seems like insurmountable odds. Nilfgaard is incredibly strong and willing to use any means necessary to defeat their enemies, up to and including sacrificing their own magic users, draining them of their power and life in order to cast devastating spells against the enemy forces. Bad news for those Witchers in service to Nilfgaard, good news for fans who want to see some awesome and imaginative battle scenes. Episode 7 is full of cool magical moments. A living wall of thorny vines blocking troops from breaching enemy lines, a guy with a seemingly endless supply of deadly blades, an enchanted box of creepy metal worms that blow like mercury, and tons of flames scorching the earth with magic artillery that vaporizes enemy soldiers. There are lots of memorable moments that fans paused and lingered over in this episode. They're only made more impressive by the fact that Geralt himself isn't involved in the fight, leaving the supporting cast to carry the season finale's climactic battle without the main character. With the epic storytelling and the thrilling way the tide of the battle goes back and forth up until the very last minute, Witcher fans will be going back to this episode again and again. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.